John the Everyday Collector here, and thank you for stopping by the channel. Tonight, not a video that I'm proud to film, but one that's needed because I've kind of had it up to here with my name being uh, run under the muck lately. Last year, we saw it by a group of idiots who just completely out of nowhere decided to run my name under the muck, and when called out, you never heard from them again. I stayed quiet, kept it professional, but I'm at the point now where it's continuing and I'm not getting anywhere and my message isn't getting across. So it's time to clarify a few things. Now, of course, here I'll always try my best to keep it professional. So I ask that you be patient with me because on this episode, I got a lot of things to clarify. I want to bring facts to the table as I feel there was a little bit of manipulation today through one of the YouTube streams that went on, and there's a few things that I want to bring. I want to bring up. Unfortunately, I got to bring them up now from a year ago because a year ago I stayed quiet and was the bigger person. See, sometimes being the bigger person doesn't always get you where you need to be, and it's time to hold some people accountable. Gonna get a kick started. You, we I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is gonna take a little bit of time, and I am pre-recording it because there's gonna be a mashup of videos and evidence brought forward, and I want you guys to tune in. And this is just my side of the story. So let's get this started. We know last week XM Studios reached out to Rad Titan. That's where this all started. And they want to do an interview with them, fly them over to Singapore, yada, yada, yada. Covered in Reactables, respectfully, professional. Didn't, I feel like I didn't knock anyone down, didn't say anything but the truth and how I personally felt of the situation and the matter. Um, so let's get into it a little bit. Again, now, Rad Titan decides to do their video today. Rad Titan bites back, and I think some of the information pertaining to myself and my group, that information was shared was definitely misled, was very misleading, and very manipulative, and a crock of bull. If you really want to know how I feel, a crock of bull. So I'm here, shining a light on some things that were brought up and what really happened, or at least my point of view, because there's two sides to every story. So let's take a look at this. This was the stream today, Rad Titan, episode 346. They were scared to say my name, but show my name on the screen. I'm not scared to say their name. Rad Titan, clear as day.
From here at the moment. But one of the things that did kind of annoy me a little bit was I reached out to a collector. They have a very vocal group who is XM and Rad Titan haters for sure.
Pause it there for a second. I cannot understand how we are Rad Titan and XM haters, specifically XM. I have XM in my collection. I've hosted a slew of XM unboxings on my channel. I've stayed up 3, 4 in the morning speaking to XM directly, XM representatives directly, trying to resolve issues. I have XM representatives on a chat. Uh, we cover XM news every week. I don't understand how we hate XM. I think that is a very unprofessional statement and just not factual whatsoever. In regards to not liking Rad Titan, I've always respected Rad Titan. I was in their group. They took me out of their group. Well, it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows afterwards, especially for the reason they took me out of their group. And we'll cover that as well. But that's a misrepresentation there and just shining a light on us that is completely untrue. To be frank, with the last 2 years that XM has had, who is an XM fan at this point? Yeah, they got a nice catalog of product, but for the last 2 years, from a customer standpoint, how can you be on XM's side? That just goes to show you we're already starting off this interview process on the wrong foot. But let's continue.
I reached out to them to say, look, I know you guys have a problem with us and whatever else on your group, and there's very vocal people about it and very vocal people at XM. So, if you want to get some questions together from your group, and we'll be happy to include them and make sure they're asked. And then his response was he goes and posts like that's me asking him in a voice clip. He's like, "Oh yeah, thank you," and then he goes and puts out his post, and I'm like, "Yeah, I think you're honest here." I said that I reached out to you.
This is very manipulative, this situation here. Very, very manipulative. So, Alex's concern is that he reached out to me this past Friday at 3 o'clock in the morning, after 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time, after my show with the guys, Collectors Club. And he reached out to me, which he did, and I'll play the voice clips for you now because he didn't play the voice clips. This whole little photo here, pay attention to this photo. It's very manipulative because he stopped right where he said, "Think you should have been honest here," and said, "I reached out to you." He stopped there. He didn't continue. Why am I not seeing the rest of the conversation? Okay? But I'm going to play the voice clips. I'm going to pause this right now and play the voice clips.
Hey, Jonathan, hope all's good. Just a quick one, really. I mean, I know that your group is very active, and you guys have a lot to say about us and about Rad Titan, and also about XM. If you have any questions that you want addressed with XM, I've got a load there. If you in your group have any questions that want to be addressed, if you let me know and I can add them to the list. I'm also going to be doing like a little round of true false kind of rumours as well. So if there's any like bizarre rumours you've heard about XM as well, then I can chuck them in. Yeah, it's up to you if you want to get that across. Let me know, man. Hey, man. I'm going to be there, or leaving to go there in like 2 weeks. So, yeah, about a week's time, maybe 10 days tops. I need to put the structure together, plan it out, see how it flows. The interview is kind of the structure of it is going to be like an introduction of who I'm interviewing, who XM are, why people should care, and then it will go into the how they fucked up and what happened, and then it will go into obviously how they're going to make it right. So it's not just about fucking attacking them and doing this, but it's going to be uncomfortable questions for them. Why didn't you respond? Why did you do this? Da, da, da. And then also a little section of quickfire kind of true or false about like rumors. There's a lot of rumors. You lost the Marvel license. You weren't paying your factory, and that's why they robbed you. Just little things like that. And sorry, the other thing as well is it's not about like where is my X pre-order? Where is this being delivered? Because I'm going to be making sure I request it. If they deliver it is a different thing, but I'm going to be asking for production updates and shipping dates as well. So I don't want people saying, "Where's my Spider-Man transformation? Where's my blah 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 blah?" Because it just we'll get bogged down with that. So at the end, I'll provide like a table with dates and things. So try to kind of avoid those questions. More about how is XM going to make it right? Things that went wrong, like with the factory, the gallery, even team members leaving. These kind of things are the things I'm addressing at the moment. I'm just trying to, obviously, when you sit down to put the document together, there's always something that slips your mind. So I'm just trying to cover all bases, really.
So there you go. There you go. You have the recording you listened to. And again, this was take note. This was 3 a.m. Eastern time, right after club, right after. And he asked it. That's fine. He asked it. Perfect. I was kind of taken back. It's like, sure. But let's be frank. Let's be real here. He asked if we wanted to ask questions from my group, And that's not the point. That's why I'm involved in all of this. The issue with this whole interview process that I've been saying since day one of this announcement is this is too centralized to one group. This is an XM to customer matter. This should not be taking questions from one group. And I mentioned this 2 days before this. I mentioned this on our previous show that, hey, I don't think it's right that XM is asking Rad Titan. You want to ask Rad Titan, sure, but open it to the public. The issue here is not that Rad Titan gets to do the interview. The issue here is it's just not open to the public. You can hear it on this clip of when Rad Titan, the video, their episode, where they announce that they got the invitation from XM. You can hear it here. This is how they're asking for questions.
Now, it's down to you, down to the people watching this chat, and it's down to the people that are following the Rad Titan group to basically put in the questions that you want. And let's, like Alex was saying, don't make it about one piece that you happen to have on order because you're thinking too small.
Oh, so with the questions, because I won't be able to come back to these later on, if you can put them in the Rad Titan group, there is a post there which I believe is pinned. I will go back and pin it if it's not. And it sort of says update, and it's the one, I believe, with these images. So, yeah, go there and put the comments there.
So there you go. So the way to get the question in was to message Rad Titan in the Facebook group. Not everybody's in that bloody group. Not everybody. So that's where I shared my kind of disappointment in that from XM's standpoint on that Reactibles episode. And I mentioned afterwards that I was going to formulate my own questions. I'm going to come up with a list of questions. And you guys are more than welcome to attach them to this video as well. And I'm going to send them directly to XM. And I'm hoping that they can answer those questions publicly. I mentioned I was going to formulate my own questions and that people are recommended to send them over to me from the community, not specifically from the group. The whole issue is to get the community involved, not a specific group. I'm not doing this for likes, views, or anything other than collectors trying to get answers. Right? Where did that leave us? So then I mentioned that twice. Friday's show comes along. I mentioned it again on Club, my disapproval of this process. That's when Alex messaged me this whole mumbo jumbo voice chat. And sure, he reached out. I was gullible. I thought it was, hey, him reaching out a hand. We had a little bit of an issue last year with in the group, and I thought, hey, this was an olive branch because I never disrespected any of these guys. I never disrespected them. And that's the problem. That was my issue. Now, I made this post. And I wasn't selfish. I didn't make this post just in the Everyday Collector group. I made this post in the XM Life group. I made this post in the XM Community group. I even made this post in Statue Forum. I even made the group in Statue Forum. If I was just about views and care, I didn't link my show. I didn't link anything in this post. I just made the post. I even mentioned Rad Titan. I'm going to read you the post, right? This is the post here. I'm even going to read it to you. Share this tab instead. Okay. And here you can see it's posted in the XM Studios community group. It says, we heard last week that XM Studios will be holding an interview with the Rad Titan team in the coming weeks. I wanted to reach out to the community and gather questions from a few areas to ensure both collectors and XM customers have a voice and can formulate questions that I will send to both Rad Titan and XM directly. I mentioned Rad Titan, and I mentioned previously I was going to do this before even Rad Titan reached out to me. I just wasn't going to send it to Rad Titan. I don't need to send it to Rad Titan. Rad Titan is just the interviewee. I should be able to just send it to XM. This is between XM customers and XM. Rad Titan is just doing the interview process. The goal of this is to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions rather than a small group. All I can do is my part and put this post forward. It's up to you to ask hard-hitting questions as both a customer and collector. Please leave your questions below in the comments. If you would like to remain anonymous, please reach out to me at the email, theeverydaycollector@gmail.com. This will be posted on my Instagram for collectors who don't use Facebook, as well as XM's Facebook page, depending on whether they approve the post, which they did, thankfully. I appreciate your time and effort. Happy collecting. I posted this here, copied and pasted in XM Life and Statue 4. Okay. I didn't mention Alex. I didn't think I had to mention Alex inviting me. You know why? Because I mentioned it twice on 2 different shows of mine. And I'm going to show you the clips now. I mentioned it on, I believe it was Iceberg Lounge. And I also mentioned it on Collectors Club that Friday before. Sorry, I mentioned it on Iceberg Lounge on the weekend, I believe it was, and I mentioned it on that Monday, Chatter That Matters. I mentioned it twice with the guys on the panel. I mentioned it twice, and you're gonna watch it now. We'll watch it now. After club, they reached out to me. Rad Titan, Alex did, and he said that if we wanted to come up with questions, our group, that we can come up with them and submit them.
Okay.
He said on the video, Alex reached out to me and said if you wanted to get questions to send, if I wanted to get some questions to send to them. So you watched it? You saw me mention it. The credit was there. I'm not here trying to take credit from anybody, especially from something like this. This is not taking credit from anyone. Go do your questions. I'm here to get the answers for the community, and that's it. And I don't give a shit whether you think I'm full of it or not. I don't care. That's not what I really just don't care. I know what I'm doing this for and my intentions. And if you want to be jealous or whatever, because it's really funny how the rest of our message wasn't shown. And you can take a look. After it says, after he takes a photo of the post and he says, think you should have been honest here and said I reached out to you. I say exactly what I said in Chatter That Matters. I said, I didn't think it was necessary. I was going to do this regardless, to be honest. I mentioned it when I did my show. And I mentioned it in my show last night also that you reached out. He didn't show that part and he gave up a thumbs up. All right? He gave up the thumbs up. Why didn't he show that part? Me explaining it. I don't have to fucking explain anything. Pardon my French. I don't have to explain anything. You reached out to me. That's fine. We were really on good terms. So I appreciate you reached out. That was a kind gesture. But now that I'm looking at it, I feel like this shit was a trap.
It's a trap!
I feel like reaching out. You only reached out after I did Reactables. You only reached out after I did Club and expressed on both episodes how I felt. And not only that, you opened up your interview, and we're going to see this in this video here. You opened up your email access, okay, and that other mumbo jumbo after my videos were played. Because there was no mention, as I played the clip before, there was no mention in the first video where you announced you were going to interview XM. There was no mention of, well, you can email here and you can email there, until I'm the one that mentioned it should be centralized for collectors. And I gave my email saying if you'd like to post anonymously, you can reach me here. Okay? This is manipulative, this message right here. Missing the point. And he didn't play either what he said. And another thing is, what I didn't appreciate is when I played his messages, you can hear that they're already setting up the questions. Don't ask about this. Don't ask about that. I'm not going to make a post and say, don't ask these questions, don't ask those questions. Because if I ordered a specific statue, damn right I want to know the answer. My job here is I'm collecting the questions. Since you want to be the representative and interview XM, fantastic. Who cares who interviews them? You want to do it? Do I agree with the way it's being done? I shared how I felt about it already. Whether you're taking the questions, we're just going to see what gets answered and what doesn't get answered. So if I have 10 customers asking me, where's the Spider-Man? Where's the thing? Where's the thing? Where's the thing? And you're going to give us a shipping update. Give us the shipping update and we'll mark those questions answered. Don't play games. Oh, don't ask this and keep the questions this way. That's no. That's being hypocritical to what you advertised that you were going to do and hold them accountable and this and that. It's hypocritical. Let's continue to hear what these guys say.
You. So basically,
This post was made by this Henry Hayes, and when I read this post, that's really when I read this post, I'm like, why is he asking? His post says, "Did Alex and Gio ask you to help them gather questions?" And when I read this post, I was like, that's where I started feeling like, well, I just didn't feel comfortable. This felt like a setup. This felt like a setup for me, right? This felt like a setup. Because I mentioned in the videos that he did. So what? I didn't mention in the post. What's the big deal? I didn't mention in the post. I mentioned your name in the post. I'm not trying to get credit for anything here. That's complete and utter bullshit. I'm not asking the questions. All I'm doing is I'm giving you the credit for doing the interview. And I'm going the extra mile that you didn't and wanting to get the entire community involved. That's the only reason I stepped into this. Or else I would have just been minding my own business and I would have followed your reporting. I would have followed your reporting after you did the interview. But I wanted to kind of fight to get the community involved. You didn't do that. You wanted to get your community involved, and that was it. Until I opened my trap. And I said to Henry the exact same thing I said to Alex. This was my plan from the second that interview was mentioned. I didn't think it was right to gather questions from only one source when this affects a community. Do you see the consistency of truth there? I'm not God, I could have fucking left this answer. I didn't have to answer this. Who's this guy?
where is this question thing? Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, yeah. So it's like, yeah, just heard last week XM Studios will be holding an interview. He kind of makes out like it's all on him.
It's
and that
not at all.
Kind of pisses me off a little bit because this is why.
That's insecurity. That is insecurity.
This guy was kind of removed in the first place, where he tries to twist everything to be that he's like the Robin Hood of the community.
So he's mentioning here, that's why I was removed from Rad Titan. I don't know if I should post that now. I'll share that a little bit later because I don't want to diverge into another topic, but keep that in the back of your mind.
He's there to save everyone, and it's all twisted to make it look like it's him doing things, and that pissed me off because I approached him, and he kind of made it like
he's inserted himself. Yeah.
So
you basically asked him if he had anything that he would like to his
group
like to add, and as a result,
me and my group, but I wasn't advocating for my group. I was advocating for beyond my group, the XM customer, who I was advocating for. It's beyond my group. I love everybody in my group, but it's beyond that. The customer base, XM's customer base, is beyond our groups.
He's basically making out to them that he's inserted himself in and he's going to make sure that these things happen.
And frankly, to be frank, not to be disrespectful, but Gio is a bunch of hot air. He sits there and talks about like he thinks he knows what he's talking about. Alex does the legwork, and he just sits there and talks like he knows what he's talking about.
Well, he went away and did a fucking 40-minute video.
Yeah, that's about Reactibles. Yep,
correct. The whole video we did last week.
That was Reactibles.
Like a 40-minute video.
Accountability.
He's like, here's it, Alex. Say my name.
And then I showed up.
Baby, yeah. This is comical. It is comical because
they wouldn't say my name. You don't have to say my name. You're showing my picture. You're showing my name of the group. It's like children. It's not reporting. It's not reporting. It's unprofessional.
You're basically, you were approached, and then you make out like you're the Robin Hood of the group.
I wasn't approached. I mentioned that I was going to do this.
Or the community to basically say, and even when you were approached by someone,
it's a trap.
Saying, did Alex and Gio ask you to help gather the questions? You're like, no, it was my plan, blah, blah, blah. You make out like it was all you. So that's quite dishonest.
But then that's just, what's that? Just downright dishonest then? It's downright dishonest. Is that what that is?
It's not dishonest because, again, you guys just saw the clips, right? Now we're watching this, but you saw the clips. So we don't need to see more.
Oh, yeah.
So when he's even asked, it's like, no, I was going to anyway. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the white eyes.
Here's another winner right here. This one, the White Knight. Get it straight. He did say my name in the end. The White Knight. That's right. I don't know why it bothers so many people that I put my neck on the line to help community members. You think I'm getting what benefits am I getting? I don't have no sponsorships. I'm not getting paid. Uh, what benefits do I have for putting my neck on the line and dealing with customer issues? He's calling me the Robin Hood and the White Knight of the community. That's right, because where's them putting their neck out for the community, right? Where were they when LBS and XM Hulks, right? XM's fault for the quality control of those Hulks. Where were they for the collector? They weren't there for the collector. They were mediators for the customer. You know who got that extra $100 from distributors? That XM called me after club. XM called me after club, 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern. All right, and I explained to them who got that extra 100. That $300 for collectors. That extra 100. They only wanted 200. Hey, it's not much, but it's something. But instead of advocating for the collectors, they're advocating their mediators for the companies. Come on, leaving the collectors dry. How about another one? Not to bring this up because I feel like they've made a major improvement, but we're going to bring it up because we didn't before. All the business practice streams I did, right? On Spec. Spec had a rough year last year. A lot of customers not receiving proper replacements, broken statues. Another issue with LBS Hulks going for repaints and coming back looking worse than what they went for. Where were they covering that? They weren't covering that kind of stuff. Of course they weren't, because Spec was the sponsor. But people aren't going to say I'm the White Knight. No. I'm not trying to help the community. It's all I'm doing all this for my benefit, because I need I need to stress myself out and deal with this stuff. It's for my benefit. Are you kidding me? No, it's shining light on bullshit that you guys aren't willing to. Okay?
The community. Yeah,
And that one too, your vision, running his mouth here and there. He was all happy and dandy when he was hanging out on my channel with the guys. He was all perfect for God knows how long, almost a year. Now it's no good? Now it's no good? Okay. I don't know why you mentioned my name. I don't know why you do anything. Keep my name out of your mouth. Don't deal with me. Clearly, you're missing something, brother.
I think, and it's just that way of like twisting everything to make it sound like, he is the people's person, and
No.
he is the.
The thing here is, you guys used to be the people person until you got your subscriber base and you went full business. Now someone's stepping up to the plate and taking that spot because, hey, you left the void open because you're sure as hell not doing it.
The White Knight of the hobby and the Robin Hood and whatever else. But
I did like the way he actually tried to stay on point when people were just getting a bit
I
cocky.
did say that. Yeah, that was the
sure.
point as well. Where I was going to say, the positive side of what he was doing was there were like some Rad Titan haters, and he, their comment was,
He redirected them to
basically,
the point. He redirected them to the point of like,
it
look,
was like basically a fuck
what's the
XM,
question?
fuck Rad Titan, whatever. And he said, "Hey guys, this is about asking questions." And
Yeah.
Do you see the hypocritical nature of this here? You just started off by saying, we hate Rad Titan, we're unfair, we hate XM. And now you're telling me that I stood up for you and you want to give me credit there. That's how it's always been, brother. That's how it's always been. Fair. It's always been fair from my end. What's not fair is, it's funny how those comments, though, where you see me defending you, those don't come up on the screen at all. That's what's funny.
I think that was a good thing he did. And I was going to get onto that.
Yeah,
Well, you got to get onto the good and the bad. You know what I mean?
Sure.
At the end of the day, it's about transparency. So
hot air.
it's not great to fucking sort of paint a picture, but I mean, people like at the end of the day, you've got all these, you've got social media people as well. And I understand they want traffic and they want their fucking groups to be like pumping and busy. I completely get it. But at the same time,
That's bullshit.
I think it's nice of you to reach out and ask, to be honest. But I wouldn't have done that to a group that fucking has got loads of like people that have been removed and fucking.
Bingo. So now we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about people being removed. I don't do a check as to who's in my group. I got 1,000 people a little over 1,000 people in my Facebook group. I don't go and do a check as to who's been removed and not. Now, what I can talk to is why I've been removed. And clearly, it doesn't matter whether they've been removed or not because I stood up for them when people were trying to bring them down. So I don't know why this is even coming up. But you can see why I was removed from the group over a year ago. Now, of course, I stayed hush hush. I go post about it and whine, but guess what? Now it's being brought up again, so the facts are going to come to the table. I'm going to put a couple screenshots here. You're going to have a look as to why I got removed. This was about a year ago, April 2024. I woke up to this message from Alex. And it was towards me. Now, this screenshot doesn't have my name on it, but he later on, as the day went on, and people started messaging and so forth, my name was added to it. I just don't have the screenshot with it, but I have proof that it was, of course, aimed towards me. Okay, so you see the post that Alex made. It was made on April 16th at 11:18 a.m. So I woke up to this message saying, "Damn, certain people in this hobby blindly going after companies when the company is doing all it can to resolve issues, and distributors when they are strongly supporting and pushing another distribution option. There's a clear agenda involved. I like to think that when Gio and I mention an issue on the chat or here, we have done our research before posting it. But it feels like a certain group is like that cheap gossip mag, post it fast with minimal proof to get the views, latch on to reposting the same images, and if proven wrong, brush it off, looking out for the community." That post was made. Everybody was wondering who's
Who? 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 Were you fucking owl?
the same towards. I was tagged in it later on. And it just snowballed from there. And I stayed quiet, and I stayed quiet, and then it just continued to snowball. Um, this was around the time that they did the PCS interview, which was a complete another joke. And we're going to touch on that a little bit as well because it was mentioned. So I won't get into it too much. But it was just a mess. In that whole conversation, it was a mess. And then you say, "Jonathan, tell me, I want to go back and see it." Things were referenced, like Alex went on to say, if you were referring to questions not being addressed on our live stream, it was due to not giving you the airtime. You are blindly going after Ant from PCS to a degree, and it was just complete bull, stating that I went after him on other shows as well. Well, I'm after the answer. And again, I'll give you the details of that. And I went on to say it was the furthest from the truth, and just back and forth, back and forth. And then it was mentioned that I bash distributors like Spec because I'm working with guys like Momenik. At the time, I shout out Momenik, not a sponsorship, just good customer service, and people were having good feedback with them. Right? You can ask anyone who purchased from them, and I would shout out Momenik. And I helped Momenik with some local collectors deliver some boxes, and I posted the picture. And when they saw that, they immediately thought, wow, he's bashing Spec and promoting Momenik for his own benefit, which was the furthest from the truth. Furthest from the truth. They didn't know anything. And when that started to get called out, that's where I stepped to the plate and I started to say, hey, there's a lot of misinformation being spread here, back and forth. And even Dilber went in. The second Dilber went in to defend, Gio deleted the comment. The second we stepped up to the plate and gave us facts, because not to mention, while this is all going on, these discussion points, people are chiming in and saying, kind of to my defense, which I really appreciated, saying, hey, this isn't Jonathan. This isn't how he operates. This is all wrong. So that buildup of people saying that, plus you had Momentic come in and say, "Hey, this is the furthest from the truth. You're off here. This is not how it works," and all that. Gio removed the post. He deleted the post completely, and at that point, kicked me out of the group for a post that I didn't even make, and I was respectful. Kick me out of the group. Why remove the post? What are you hiding? Why remove the post? And it goes back to me saying, anytime you make a comment or try to stand up to anything Geo says, instead of dealing with it, he'll kick you out of the group. And that's it. He'll kick you out of the group. He runs and he's full of air, in my opinion. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's a full of air. Tell me why I got kicked out of the group.
Oh yeah, so he's like, yeah, just heard last week XM Studios will be holding an interview. He kind of makes out like it's all on him. And that kind of pisses me off a little bit, because this is why this guy was kind of removed in the first place, where he tries to twist everything to be that he's like the Robin Hood of the community. He's there.
Oh, the lie detector determined that was a lie.
I have the screenshots. I have the screenshots of the conversation. I even told Alex to reach out to me. But that's why I got kicked out of the group. And once I got kicked out of the group, to be honest, a lot of people followed. A lot of people followed me out of the group. Because it's a crock of bull how that group was being run. And the number one rule is, if you don't like how the group is being run and it's not your group, you leave it. But don't you dare come on a live show bashing other people, bashing other groups, when you're the one that's hiding how you run the group. You're the one that's hiding how you run the group. Why'd you delete the comment? And the best part of all this, you know what the best part of all this? When they did their next show, which I'm going to try to find a clip.
And until he starts trouble. I mean, he's been starting enough trouble over the last 2 weeks. I've actually had to give him a warning on our own group.
He gave me a fucking what? I put a comment. I put a comment up. I put a post up, and then George replied to it a couple of times, then decided to take it down. And then I look at my phone and I'm like, the fuck? I got a warning. I got a warning on the Rad Titan group. I'm like, you motherfucker.
You got a warning in your own group.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You gotta stop drinking whiskey and then going on Facebook.
No, what happened?
That's gonna rile you up.
I wasn't actually drinking then. That was more to do with not getting laid and not getting not getting any sleep. It was a combination of those
Fair
two,
enough.
really.
At least he's honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
It was worth just having a little fuck about with some people anyway. Sometimes it's worth it. And when I got the option, when I removed the post, I was just like, this is just going to get worse and worse and worse. So I was like, I've had a bit of fun. But when it was time to pull it down, it said, "Do you want to warn the member?" And I was just like, "Yes, I do." That was the best part. That was the best part.
Yeah. Sounds good.
That was because of do you remember, like, when I started XM, I was trying to be all like fucking noble about it, trying to be like, hey, what I'm going to do is, because I'm now working for a company, I'm going to kind of step down as a moderator of Rad Titan, and it'll be the right thing to do, and blah blah blah. And no one gave a flying fuck. Literally no one cared. So I go, oh, okay, add me back as a moderator. And George was like, add me back as admin. And George was like, yeah, I'm going to make you a moderator. Okay, I'm going to stay admin. I'm like, no, give me a fucking admin. And he wouldn't add me back for about a week.
Yeah.
And then literally he's like, all right, you're back now. But now, because I removed myself and then now joined back, he's like the fucking dog's bollock admin.
He's the admin.
Well, he's like the main
you're starting the drama. You're starting all the drama. So
yeah, you are.
I guess
King for a reason.
When you're back on your best behavior, when you're
still out of the group, and then still never reached out and apologized. But he's supposed to reach out to me, invite me to send questions over to him, and I'm supposed to what? Bend over. Please, here's your name mentioned. It's a crock of bullshit. It's a crock of bull.
I've got nothing to say about fucking us or anything. So I'll
coming in now. Your issue is you're only accepting questions via your Facebook group, and this is a community. No, because people can ask it on the actual last video we did. And I've given my email address many times so people can email it to me. So it's not just on the fucking Rad Titan.
This is manipulation again. This is manipulating. Because on that video, when I showed you the clip where they were asking for questions, you heard the method of submitting a question via the Facebook group. You heard that. Now, after everything, the email's being included. And the other methods are being mentioned.
Oh, and you can use you can also use the website too.
Yeah,
you can
of
also
course you
use the the
Rad
webpage.
Titan
You can do that.
page.
Yeah, you can use.
All right, let's get back onto this then. All right. Anything you want to add on this, or are we done with that now?
Yeah, I listen. Like I said, the door. My only issue is really that the door is open. I don't know this person, and they could have reached me on Messenger. They could have they could have asked me to be added to the Rad Titan group so that he can ask those questions publicly to.
And what he's referring to now is Dion, collector we know, Dion, who shared his experience about Rad Titan and how he feels about this whole thing, and they didn't like it because it really went in depth as to how he feels and so forth. And I just think it's hypocritical that Gio says throughout this interview that, throughout the show that his door's always open and his door's off the hinges and stuff. Meanwhile, why didn't Dion reach out to Gio to express how he felt instead of posting in all the groups? I could say the same thing as to why didn't Gio reach out to me before removing me from the group to get my perspective and to get more information from me. It's hypocritical. It's not a two-way street. It's not a two-way street.
To the group, I don't mind. The door is fucking open. It's not shut. Unless you've been blocked for being a cock, you've got nothing to worry about. So just ask. Even at this point of him going into other groups, my only issue is, like I said, don't ever question my integrity. My record is fucking spotless and it speaks for itself.
We just questioned your integrity. I just showed you the post and how you removed me from the group and how you mentioned the next show that Alex was drunk and he posted that, but you still didn't reach out to me to show what you stand for. You stand for that your integrity is solid and so forth, but you never reached out to me. And all I've had was respect to both of you, discussing families, how are your kids, wishing them a happy birthday and everything. I've only had respect for both of you. And the messages are there to prove it. All right? The messages are there to prove it. This is all a publicity stunt and all manipulation for the viewer. That's it.
Itself. When you've got a record like mine, put your fucking nuts on the table and we'll compare. Because I have never fucking ever, I've always called it straight. So
Bullshit.
I don't like.
Watch that PCS interview and see if it was called straight. Watch it. I'm going to link it so you can watch that PCS interview and tell me if Gio conducted that interview straight.
Anybody even remotely, that'll get you instantly removed and blocked from me because I won't listen to one person say and try and make out that there's some sort of underhanded tactic going on here. No. Not from my side of it. I give nobody a free ride. I don't give a fuck who you are, what CEO you're from.
Yeah.
Watch any of my interviews.
Call his bluff
with any of the CEOs of any of the companies and watch me fucking call it exactly down the line.
Call his bluff.
Line. I've got my record speaks for itself. I've got the proof. So just don't fucking bring me into this sort of silly game because it will just end badly.
Anything that anyone counters anything you say, you'll just block them and delete them.
That's what I said. Yeah.
How?
That's what he's claiming.
How? I just showed you how.
But the guy that wants your name said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why?
The guy who was.
If you're gonna make a segment about me on the show, you can't say my name. You're showing my name. You're not a podcast. You're a YouTube show, so anybody can see my name. They know who I am.
It's removed from Rad Titan.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, anyway.
For whatever reason, see, so clearly I was removed. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter for whatever reason. But he's gonna ask me to send questions, and I'm gonna say, "Oh, Alex, oh, of course, please."
But that's why it has to be like this. But you still reached out to this person. So what's the explanation for that? So what's the explanation for that?
Well, I reached out.
If it's such a closed shop, why did you reach out?
Because it's
a trap.
Complete.
Do you understand? It doesn't make sense. Sometimes your IQ needs to be above 70 to understand this.
Oh yeah.
You can't claim this.
All hot air coming from his mouth. That's all it is. Hot air.
Let's look at the PCS interview. The thing with the PCS interview was you were constantly coming in on the chat, mentioning things which were like, what about this product? What about this product? What about this product? And Ant was already talking about it. And
Oh, the lie detector determined that was a lie.
Let's bring in Maury Povich. The lie detector determined that was a lie. And you can see right here, I found the video.
He's done well.
He's got
They've both done very, very well. Love it.
his
They
his
survived. They
friend.
were
His
like,
friend has been asking questions as well. Should we do? No, I'm not going to put him in there because he's raising kind of like a bit bittery questions. No, I'm not going to go there.
I think they've
So,
and I found my comment. Okay? And it was the same comment. And it had nothing to do with continuous asking of product. My comment had to do with quality control. And don't remember, this interview was done a year ago where PCS was really struggling. All right? They were really, really struggling. Okay? Mentioning that back then that the site was going to be up a year ago. The site's only going up now, more than a year. There was no accountability in that interview. It was a fluff interview. And that's why the community is bringing up these concerns. And we're having this discussion this evening. I posted this in all those groups, and in all of those groups, even Statue Forum, there was people making comments about Rad Titan and the professionalism that they don't conduct during interviews and how it's all fluff, even in Statue Forum. Okay? But let's take a look at that PCS interview. Look at my question and what I raised in regards to the storm. And my main question was, what is PCS doing to ensure the issues with the storm do not happen again? If that question was answered a year ago and we can hold them accountable, man, we wonder where PCS would be today. But they wanted to avoid that question. And here we are.
And it was all like,
And you just caught Alex in a lie. You just caught Alex in a lie, saying that I was asking about a variety of products. And that was not true. Go back to the interview and look at the live chat. I showed it to you here. Look at that live chat.
yeah, you can't go into every single item. It has to be a bigger picture with things.
you never move anywhere forward. And anyway, do your own interview. If you don't like it, do your own fucking interview.
Fantastic. That's such a good point. Do your own interview. Fantastic. I will. That's not the principle, though. The principle is you come out beating your chest, saying, you're the ones that started everything. You're the ones that stand up for collectors. You just stated on this live that you hold companies accountable and you don't lay down for anyone, any CEO. And I just determined that that's a complete bullshit if you go watch that PCS video. Complete and utter bullshit. So it's easy to go say, yeah, you conduct your own interview. And then you mention, watch this.
Get off your ass, get the following, get the backing, get
What following? Tell me what following is going on here. What, the 100 and something thousand, no, 200 and something thousand subscribers that you got from posting shorts? You're posting shorts? You know, the guy that you bash all the time, he gets more views than you do. So what following? If it's based on following, then you shouldn't have the interviews and the other person should have the interviews. So don't start getting smart, okay? Don't start getting smart bringing up following as into anything because of that following, you're no longer the Rad Titan that everybody watched. You might be behind the scenes when you're yapping in chats, but live, you are not the same Rad Titan.
get company CEOs on your fucking group. If they ain't there, then that's your fucking problem, innit?
Well,
do your own work.
I wonder why they aren't there. I'm clearly not holding the PCS interviews, those fluff interviews.
Burner in the house.
Jesus Christ, it can't be any simpler than that. How else can you put it? So I call up Piers Morgan and fucking, or I'll call up Andrew Tate, or I'll call up fucking Joe Rogan, and I'll just start asking him. You know, fuck you. Why'd you do this? It'd be like, mate, do your own fucking interview. You want to talk to these guys?
All yapping. All.
If you want to handle it any differently, bro, you go and do it. I'll watch. What I won't do is jump into the comments and try and completely fuck your guest up.
And you guys can determine on whether that question that I asked was completely effing the guest up. You can completely see. Or was that good reporting trying to get answers for a community from a company that's struggling? It's crazy how they can bash Prime One Studio as much as they want, but when it comes to holding companies accountable that they have perks with, they can't say anything. You can't say anything. PCS, where's the accountability for the terms and conditions change that happened in January? Why haven't they talked about it? That's Alex's backyard. He's working with them now. Why haven't they talked about that? They haven't talked about any of the collectors that have been experiencing issues that we've brought to light. Nothing live. Absolutely nothing. Promoting Palpatine. Oh, for sure. They're going to promote Palpatine. But where's the issues? Why are we not talking about the issues? You're Rad Titan. You hold CEOs accountable. So let's see it. Let's see you holding them accountable. Fluff conversations is not what we need. And then you come out and say you're holding people accountable. I'm sorry, it's not. I think this is wrapping up now. Perfect. That was pretty much it. That is it. It's out. 2:30 a.m. here, and I got to put this together. And I was deliberating whether I was, but I'm so fed up. Out of respect to myself, out of respect to the collectors who are in my group, I'm not going to sit back and have stuff like this happen. I'm not. I'm absolutely not. And I know how it looks. Trust me, every YouTuber and their grandmother, I don't know what the hell their problem is with me and my group or me. Why? Because I talk about the truth and you guys don't have a backbone? Friends? Losing friends who I've streamed over a year and a half with every week, not missing an episode. Losing friends without a message because you got to impress your clique? And I'm the one doing this shit for views? You guys got to get a reality check. You got another one going around the community, taken on paper. And I got evidence of that too. You can look. This person doesn't talk to John. That person doesn't talk to John. What is the fuck is this, kindergarten? Guys, get off your high horses. We're in a statue community. We should be working together. Do you know how this interview process should have worked? Rad Titan, XM, Rad Titan, we want you to go. Okay. Not the best of looks, but let's just put that all aside. Let's just say everything's fine with it. XM, Rad Titan. Now, Rad Titan, as a solid community group that's always been there for the community and should have branched out, and I'm not even saying to my group, but should have branched out to possibly some other YouTube channels and said, hey, we're going to be doing this video. Let's work together and get some questions for the community. Because this is not a Rad Titan concern. This is an XM to XM's customer concern. But no, they want it to be selfish. They want it to keep it within their circle, get the questions for their circle. And I come along running my mouth, right? Standing up for what's right to try to get the community involved. And I'm the bad person. And I end up being the bad person. Already. I'm done. Okay? There you go. I said what I had to say. This is done. I don't want to hear more about it. If you have a problem with anything I had to say, I brought facts to the table. You see all the evidence. You got any questions, reach out to me, I'll answer. But I don't want to deal with this anymore because this is taken away from my focus, the passion of the hobby, and that's it. Whether you want to be my friend or not, I don't get at the point I don't give a I'll sit by myself and stream if I have to. Because I'm not doing this for other people. I'm meeting people along the way and I'm loving meeting the people that I have. I met some solid friends. Not the fucking rats that come along and then stab you in the back when the other opportunity looks better. I met some solid people that I know would have my back. That's what this is about. All this other mumbo jumbo, this is crap. Oh, Jonathan, but this is too much drama. Then you know what? Turn it off if it's too much drama. Because I'm not going to let people run my name under a muck and sit back. I'm going to stand up for what's right. So if this is too much, turn it off. Don't watch this. Stay tuned to Fridays and Mondays. When you see videos with the crew, I try to keep drama out of there. This is my problem to deal with. You see how I'm doing this by myself? I could have had a team and discussed it. No, I do this by myself. This is my job to cover this and discuss it. Nobody else's. Those guys that come on Fridays and Mondays, I want them to come on the show and enjoy the hobby. We answer hard-hitting questions. We bring up, you see the diversity on that panel? Hot toy collectors, art print collectors, statue collectors, a little bit of everything. That's what this is about. Not this. Click this and click that. I can't talk to this guy because that guy's. Let me tell you another thing. If you're a piece of shit, okay, that ever told another person, why are you talking to this guy because of this, this, and this, and impeding on a friendship, you need to get your shit checked. You need a reality check. That's ridiculous. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed at acting like that. Questioning a friendship because you don't get along with someone, that is absolutely ridiculous. You should be ashamed. Shut the damn cameras off and take a break. See all the yapping? Where are they? Taking a nice break. Take the break. And come back with your eyes open. Have a good night. We'll catch you guys on what's next. The everyday display is going to happen tonight. Depending on when this gets out. This is 2:30. I got to edit this. We got time for this shit. Just remember, if you're going to say my name, you better come prepared to say my name and deal with it. Or not, just keep my name out of your mouth. Talk about it behind my back. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And this goes for anyone else. If you don't like who I am, you don't like me, leave the group. You don't like how I produce content, leave the group. I don't need any rats in that group either that I'm seeing messages, either it's from the chats or the group, being missed and sent and this and that to everybody. Okay? Because I'm an honest guy. I'll tell you to your face like I'm telling you now. I don't want to see any of this bullshit. I'm done with this. I want 2025, the rest of this year, to be good. I'm here to have a great time with friends. I'm here to enjoy the hobby and report the hobby. This channel is my journal. For me, for my kids one day, for whoever wants to watch. This is me imprinting my life, the amount of time and life that goes into these shows. This is my story. So this is just going to be part of it. That's why I'm not sitting back anymore. People are going to see how I feel about this shit. All right? Get your shit checked out. If you need help, take a break. You want to talk to me? Talk to me. I didn't block anybody, maybe 2 people. Some people that talk too much. Fucking closet space is getting tight. Too much talking. Other than that, reach out to me. My door is always open. I've talked to guys. People have reached out to me. You know who you are if you're watching this. We were on bad terms. Did I ever turn you away? Never turned you away. Didn't even talk about the bad terms. Just continued like nothing happened. Right? That's how it works. Either come to get things resolved or keep my name out of your freaking mouth. My name and my group out of your mouth. But be rest assured, if anyone pulls crazy shit on YouTube, that I will call it out. Be aware of that. I will call it out if I catch it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm done with that. I'm absolutely done with that. Take it easy, guys. Happy collecting. Collect responsibly. And most of all, always remember to have fun. Hopefully this is the last time I have to do this video. Take it easy.